We've just witnessed history being made. Only 22 times in our nation's history has the House of Representatives presented and delivered articles of impeachment to the Senate. Only twice in our nation's history has a cabinet member been impeached by the House. The stakes of this impeachment are not some technical violation of law, but rather an enormous and growing threat to the lives and safety of millions of Americans. Every year, under Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, we have seen millions of illegal aliens crossing into this country. Alejandro Mayorkas actively aided and abetting the criminal invasion of this country by criminal drug cartels and illegal aliens, and the consequences have been day after day after day migrants dying. 853 in the last year. The consequences have been day after day after day, little boys and little girls being brutalized by human traffickers. The consequences have been day after day after day, hundreds and even thousands of women being sexually assaulted by human traffickers. The consequences, which the House managers read out loud in the articles of impeachment, have been enriching the Mexican drug cartels to a level never before seen in history. In 2018, the drug cartels made roughly $500 million from human trafficking. In 2022, they made $13 billion. The single greatest friend the human traffickers have ever had has been Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas. Because under their open border policies, the drug cartels have seen their revenues rise 2,600%. Every week, we see another horrific crime committed by criminal illegal aliens that Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas continue to release. Laken Riley, beautiful 22-year-old woman in Georgia, a nursing student, just out for a jog. Like so many other women are out for a jog today, believing they live in a country where their safety will be protected, and it should have been. But Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas deliberately defied the law. They apprehended her killer when he came illegally into this country. He was in El Paso. Had Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas simply followed the law, they would have put him on a plane and flown him back to Venezuela, and Laken Riley would still be alive. But they didn't. They defied the law. They let him go. And he went to New York City, another sanctuary city, where he was apprehended again, this time for endangering the safety of a child. If New York City had simply followed the law, if they'd put him in jail, Laken Riley would still be alive. But again, New York City let him go, and this murderer came down to Georgia and beat Laken Riley to death with a brick. Jeremy Caceres, a 2-year-old little boy in Prince George's County, Maryland, just miles from where we are right now, murdered by an illegal alien Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas released. And just a couple of weeks ago, we saw another tragic case. We've discovered that Alejandro Mayorkas and Joe Biden aren't simply allowing millions of illegal aliens in at our southern border. They're actually flying them in from their home countries. Over 320,000 last year, including one individual they flew from Haiti to Boston, Massachusetts. When he got here in Boston, Massachusetts, what did he do? Well, he was just arrested for violently raping a 15-year-old girl who is severely disabled. The consequences of this open border invasion are enormous. And interestingly enough, what you just saw is apparently terrifying. The men and women, the House managers who are here, and thank you for your service coming here, scare the living daylights out of Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. Tomorrow we're going to see Chuck Schumer throw out 200 years of history, ignore the Constitution. Why? Because he does not want these managers to present the evidence of the people dying because of their policies. Not just that have died yesterday and the day before, but the people that will die tomorrow. You want to know how terrified the Democrats are of hearing the evidence. Everyone recognizes the single most endangered Democrat senator on the ballot this year is Jon Tester from Montana. I don't know how many of the reporters were in the chamber for the reading of the articles, but Jon Tester was standing on the floor before the managers arrived. As soon as the managers arrived, Tester turned and ran, presumably into the cloakroom. And if you look at the Democrat side, virtually every Democrat was there, but Jon Tester was nowhere to be found, because apparently it was too frightening to hear the managers simply read the facts of the people who were dying because of the policies he supports. And as soon as the House managers were done, as y'all walked off the floor, Jon Tester came from the cloakroom and was back on the Senate floor. When sitting Democrat senators have to go into witness protection, it tells you they cannot defend their inhumane policies. The Senate has a clear obligation under the Constitution and 200 years of precedent. We need to hold a trial. We need to allow the managers to present the evidence. And then every one of us who is following the law should convict and remove Alejandro Mayorkas for aiding and abetting a criminal invasion of the United States of America. John Kennedy.